If you are constantly uploading TikToks and you're not getting the views, it doesn't mean that your content isn't valuable. It just means that you're not doing it the right way. So in this video, I want to share 7 things that I wish I had known when I started on TikTok. Because like most people, when I started out, I thought I was making good videos, but I was stuck at 200 views and I started to feel like you had to be lucky in order to be successful on TikTok. It honestly felt like the algorithm was just randomly picking people to go viral and that there was nothing that I could do to go about it because nothing I did worked. But the truth is, there were just things about TikTok that I didn't understand yet. And once I figured them out, I was actually able to go from 0 to 10,000 followers in under 45 days. But what's crazy is that if I had known these 7 things from the start, I probably could have grown a lot faster. Especially if I had to understand which parts of all the guru advice didn't matter and were actually BS that those same people were using to boost their own views. So I'm going to share those things at the end. That way you have an easier time kind of sorting through the conflicting advice and actually start to get views. Now, the first thing that I'd wish I'd known, and it's really like the simplest way to increase your views, is actually to make sure that you're using the right settings. Because most people, and myself included when I first started, they just create a new account and they start posting and they don't realize that by changing their settings, they are actually able to impact their ability to show up in search on TikTok and to have the algorithm actually push and prioritize their content. One of the most important settings for you to fix right now actually determines whether the algorithm is going to go out and try to find your ideal viewer, the people that are going to love your content and rack up a ton of watch time and allow you to get more views from the right people, versus just being lazy and then the algorithm only showing your content to the people that already know you and may or may not be interested in your content. And so this is very simple. All I want you to do is go to your profile, go to your settings, and then look up your privacy settings. And obviously you want to make sure that it's not set to private because then nobody's going to see your content. But assuming you have that figured out, I want you to go to where it says suggest content to others. And when you click on this, there's going to be 3 different things inside. And you see it's going to be sharing with like your contacts and your friends and like things like that. I want you to turn off every single one of these settings because those aren't the people that we want to see your content. And then once you do that, I want you to go to the next one, which is about syncing your contacts. And I want you to make sure that that is turned off too. This is such a simple thing that you can do to get the algorithm to work for you and to go out and try and get you as many views as possible. So I want you to take advantage of this quick win. And then there's 6 other important settings that are going to impact your views. And there's a lot that goes into this. I actually created an entire video about it. So once you finish this video, I want you to watch these 7 important settings and make sure that you have all of them fixed correctly. That way you can maximize your views. But for now, I want to move on to the second thing I wish I had known about posting on TikTok, which is how often you should be posting. And this is a heavily debated topic, and there's a lot of conflicting advice from the gurus on TikTok about what you should and should not do. And I've even seen some crazy videos lately of creators saying that they're posting 20 times a day and that posting with that really high amount of frequency is what you should be doing in order to get the most views possible. And so I want to talk to you about what it really takes, whether getting more frequency is actually going to help you grow faster, and what TikTok actually recommends that you should be doing when it comes to posting frequency. Now, when we talk about posting frequency, the one thing that everybody seems to agree on is that you need to post consistently. You need to be consistent. Like everybody talks about consistency, consistency, consistency. But what does consistency even mean? Well, according to TikTok, consistency means that you should be posting at least once per day. That's their recommendation. They want you to be posting daily. And this is so important that they've actually said that the more consistent you are as a creator, the longer you can go posting every single day without taking a break, the more they're going to prioritize your content over other creators. So if you are a consistent creator and there's another similar creator and your videos are pretty much similar, they're going to prioritize you over that inconsistent creator. They're going to push you and give you more views. So chaining days together and posting every day for as long as possible is actually going to benefit and grow your base level views over time. So that doesn't mean that you need to post 3 to 5 times per day. TikTok says they recommend no more than 1 to 4 times per day, but you should be posting daily. And there's honestly a lot of benefits to your growth and posting daily beyond just TikTok giving you an extra little boost. The first thing is that when you are posting every day, you're going to learn what works for your account faster. You're going to figure out the types of content, the formats, the ideas, the hooks, the things that seem to be working for you, and then you're going to be able to double down on those things to increase your views and growth. The other thing that happens when you post daily is that you just improve as a creator. Your actual skills of creating videos and talking on camera get better because you're practicing every single day. You're creating another video, and you're just going to get better based on that repetition. And honestly, that is the thing that nobody talks about. That is one of the most impactful things to improving your views on TikTok. Now, when it comes to posting more, yes, that can help. You can grow faster if you post more, but the important thing to keep in mind is that you shouldn't increase your frequency. You shouldn't be posting multiple times per day unless you can do that without having a drop in quality. And that means that you're doing your content research, you're posting good ideas, you're doing the same level of production quality, whatever that is that you do, and that you're not just putting out more videos, but they're crappy videos, because quantity does not equal more views as much as quality does. It's just that when you post more times, you're putting more of those lottery tickets out there, those free lottery tickets to go viral. You have more opportunities, and you are going to learn and improve faster. So it's a balance, right? And the other thing is, you don't want to post at a higher frequency than you can maintain, because you want to be consistent and you don't want to burn yourself out and take a break. So the ideal posting frequency is what you can manage. What is the amount of times you can post per day, up to 4 times, where you aren't going to miss a day and you're not going to produce crappier content, and that's how much you should post. Now, the third thing I wish I'd understood is how the algorithm works, and more specifically, how the algorithm categorizes your account to get you the most views possible. Because the algorithm actually wants your videos to do well, and it wants to show them to the people that are going to be most interested in those videos, because the whole purpose of the algorithm is so that every single person that comes onto TikTok is shown videos in their feed that they will want to stop scrolling and watch. That way they will find new creators that they love and want to watch all the time, so they can keep those people happy and on the app. And so the flip side of that is that the algorithm is trying to find the people that love your content. But the problem is that most of us can't get out of our own way, and we actually confuse the algorithm because we're creating content about too many different things. And when the algorithm is confused about what the topic of our account is, it can't categorize us, and therefore it can't show our content to the right people. And so we end up in this endless cycle of we're creating good content, but the wrong people are seeing it, and therefore they're swiping past it, or they're starting to watch it, but they're not sticking around because that video wasn't designed for them. And so this is a really simple solution. You just need to make sure that you understand who your ideal viewer is and what they need help with, and then all of your content needs to be on that topic. And so if you're an online fitness coach that is helping people to lose weight with your programs, then all of your content should be about that. I understand that you might be interested in other things, whether it's sports or books or movies. There's other things that you want to talk about because you're a person and you have a lot of interests, but your content isn't about you and what you're interested in. It's about what your ideal customer is interested in. And if you try to be the niche and talk about all of the things because you want people to love you and just follow your content because of you, that isn't going to happen until you first get categorized, become known for something, and get seen by enough people that people start to care about you for you. So at this stage, make sure you're posting consistently about one topic for one person, helping them solve one problem, and then save the personal stuff for your stories. That's a great way for your biggest fans to get to know you a little bit better. And one other thing to keep in mind. When you're at the stage where your videos are still stuck at 200 views and you are being consistent with your topic, don't delete your videos. Every single video you post, even if it flops, is sending signals to the algorithm, helping it understand what your content is about and who is interested in it. So leave it there and let the algorithm use that data, and then just go post another video. If you do this for 30 days, the algorithm's gonna figure out what your content is about, and it's gonna start showing it to the right people, and your views are automatically gonna go up. And then you're gonna use the rest of these things I'm about to teach you, and it's really going to skyrocket your views. And the next thing that I wish I'd known is what it takes to make viral content. Because what happens is early on as a creator, we don't really know what good content is. So even if you're creating consistently about the same topic and the algorithm's figuring out who the right person to show your content is, you might not be creating the right things. You might not be making videos about the right ideas to get the big views yet. Because in that initial 200 to 300 view sample phase, the algorithm is trying to figure out how long people are watching your video and what percentage of them are actually finishing the video. And if the metrics aren't good enough, then they're not going to push it out to more people. And so in order to make it good enough and get pushed really far, the best thing that you can do is use proven ideas and make your version of them. And so really quickly, I'm going to take you through like the 3 stages that you're going to go through and that I went through as a creator to start consistently creating viral content. And in the first stage, you don't know what works. And so you need to be doing a lot of content research, and you need to be studying other creators. You need to be looking for their outlier videos, the videos that got way more views than they normally do, got views that are 5 times more than the followings they have. Basically, the bigger the number of views and the smaller number of followers they have, the better of an idea that is for you to create. And you're not going to copy it verbatim. You're not going to rip it off, but you're going to use that idea and you're going to use that exact hook. You should be using the hook exactly. And then you're going to share your perspective, your take on that idea. And so that's the first stage as a creator. And just to give you a little veteran hack here, you can actually train your For You page to just show you viral content in your niche to make this process really easy. And all you got to do is go to your page, look at content, and anything that is not in your niche, just say that you're not interested. And anything that is your niche content, just watch it and engage with it. And after a few minutes, it'll actually start to modify your algorithm. And just do this every single time you get on. And then what will happen is when you open your app, it's going to show you the most viral content ideas in your space right now. And you can just save the ones that you like and then go make your version of those videos. Now, the second stage as a creator is you start to study what is working for you and then experiment with those ideas and formats to see if you can find other ideas and formats that will work for you. And so, for example, if you have a video that goes viral for you or gets way more views than you're used to, then you want to take that idea and you want to start creating other videos about that idea, but like different ways of explaining the idea or sharing the idea. Or you could take the hook from that video and say, okay, if I turn that hook into a formula and applied it to other ideas or different pillars of content that I have inside of my topic, like let me test that. And as you start to do that, you're going to start figuring out what are the ideas that always go viral, what are the patterns that are always successful, and then you're going to want to do more of those. And that's really how you get to be that stage 3 creator, is you understand what always works for you and you start to create those things over and over. You double down and use that to drive growth while continuing to experiment and just have fun with content. And this is the stage where content gets to be really fun and you can kind of start doing just whatever you want, because you can just experiment with ideas. And anytime you have just, you're struck with inspiration, you can just make that idea because you know you have these proven 3, 4, 5 formats that always go viral, always get you views. And as long as you're posting them consistently, you're always going to get views, you're always going to grow, and you can just kind of have fun and take the pressure off of everything else. Now, the 5th thing that I wish I'd known when I started on TikTok is about video optimization. Like, how can you package your videos to make them more successful, to make sure that less people swipe away, that you get more watch time, that more people finish your videos. And so I'm going to break this down into like the 2 main types of content. So I'm going to call it like the B-roll videos, where you have the video and you have the text on screen, and like how do we optimize that to get more views? And then I'm going to talk about like the FaceTime videos, the ones where like you're sitting there talking to the camera, you're in your car or whatever, and you're giving advice, and like those are harder, but those are the ones that we can get money from, that we can get paid under the Creator Rewards program for. So how do we make those minute-long videos or more and actually have them be successful and get the views? So let's start with those B-roll videos, right? These are the ones that are 6 to 9 seconds long. They have a sound attached to them, text on the screen, all of that kind of stuff. Our goal here, our first like baseline, is that we want to get 60% or better retention in the first 3 seconds of our video, right? And I say baseline because if you come in my comments and say, well, I got 65% and I didn't go viral, there's other things that matter too, right? Like, just because you hit that number doesn't mean it's going to be successful, but it's a good indicator of what you need to aim for, and it gives you something to work toward. So if you're only getting 50% retention in the first 3 seconds, then you need to make better B-roll videos. You need to have better hooks on your video. So everything I do with these videos is going to be centered around that 3-second mark, which is when most people drop off, and trying to keep people past it. And so the first thing you can do in your video, and it doesn't have to be complicated, but move at the very start of your video and then move around the 3-second mark, or have some sort of change on the screen. And so this could be as simple as just sitting down in your chair right at the start of the video, or one that I like to do, I'll sit down and then take a drink of my drink in the video, and it's just movement and it just keeps people's attention. But what I found to be more impactful lately is actually to use sounds that have like a beat drop at the 3-second mark, because it starts to build attention, and like it's building, and then boom, the sound changes, and people don't realize it, but in addition to that movement keeping their attention, that sound is keeping them interested because they realize it's coming to a climax. And even if it just tips them over and gets them to say 4 seconds, 5 seconds, well, that ends up being really huge retention in a 6 to 9 second video. The third component for these videos is you gotta have a strong hook. Like any video, you have to have a strong hook that gets people's attention and gets them to stop scrolling. And then after that, your goal is to get them to read. You want to have more text on the screen. And it could actually be text on the video itself where the hook gets them and then they keep reading, or it could just be a really long and value-based caption. And either way, I like to have and put more time and more text into my captions because when people are reading those things, it's actually going to get the video looping and it's going to increase your finish rate. It's going to increase your watch time. And the other thing is that there was a stat recently that over 40% of people that are watching content on TikTok are watching without the sound on. So they're reading. They're sitting in front of the TV, watching silently, scrolling while they're not paying attention, or they're in the grocery line, looking at TikTok while they're waiting, until it's their turn to whatever. So when you can make it very valuable and you can make it savable, right? Like there's something in there in the caption. They go, I actually have to save this and come back and use it later to go ahead and implement it and get the result from it. That is going to do really well for your video. And actually that is something that TikTok has come out and said they want. They want savable content. When you talk about how much you get paid in the Creator Rewards program, one of the pillars is savable content. So you want there to be value, and there can be value with what you put on the screen, but there can also be a lot of value with what you write in the caption. Now, the things that we focus on to get more views for your FaceTime videos are a little bit different, but they still start with the same thing. You need to have a good hook. We need to get people's attention, and it actually starts with text on screen again. We need to have a text-based title that is a strong hook that's going to allow people to figure out what your video is about before they even hear your verbal hook. That way they know this video is for me and I need to stop scrolling and watch. And then from there, you have to have a great verbal hook. You need to get their attention and keep them watching for at least the first 5 seconds. That's the most important part of the video. If we can't keep people's attention for the first 5 seconds, there's no way in heck they're going to listen to us for 60 to 90 seconds. And so the two most important things that you should be putting most of your time on with your videos is making sure that you have good ideas and that you have a good hook that's going to grab people's attention. And if you're doing what I already recommended and you're making your own versions of proven ideas that have already gone viral, then it shouldn't be a problem because you're going to have a good idea and you're going to use their hook, and then you're just going to share your thoughts and opinions on it. Now, there's a couple other things you can do to package your videos and make them more effective. The first one, make your videos shorter. Don't aim for the 60-second plus videos that are going to qualify to get you paid under the Creator Rewards program at first. Focus on making great videos that are 30 to 60 seconds long that are going to get a lot of watch time and a high finish rate, which is what TikTok calls play duration, because that's the main factor they're going to be looking at for determining how many views you can get. So master those shorter videos at first, and to help with the finish rate, make sure that you abruptly end your videos, okay? No calls to action in your videos unless they're in the middle of the video. Don't do a call to action at the end of the video because it lets people know that it's over and they're going to swipe past it. Then they don't finish your video and it's not going to get pushed further. So get in there with your hook, give the value, and then just end the video before they realize it's over. And if you're really set on doing a CTA for your video, try an engagement CTA early on. Try to get people to comment by inviting them to join, to share their opinions, ask them questions. That is going to do more to get your video pushed and get you views. And really, getting more views is how you get more leads. It's how you get more buyers. So focus on the views instead of getting them to download your thing and the link in your bio. Speaking of engagement, this is my 6th tip. You want to be responding to every single comment on your videos in order to increase your engagement and increase your views. And this is one of the things that I accidentally did right. I was just trying to help people with my content. And so when somebody would leave me a comment or would ask me a question, I took the time to respond to as many of them as I possibly could until I started getting so many views and so many comments that I wasn't able to handle it anymore. And that's what you should be doing too. Because when you're responding to people's comments, you're going to create a community and you're going to create fans that want to watch every single video you put out. And so there's this long game where it starts helping all of your videos. And the more you respond to comments, like you kind of become known for it, and more people start commenting because they realize, hey, this guy or girl actually responds when I ask a question. And so the other people see that and they feel like it's worth their time to actually ask you questions. So early on, it's worth the effort. And when there's a really good question that you can turn into a video, use the reply with video feature, because that's going to be another piece of content, and it tends to do really well, because if one person is asking you a question, then there's likely 10, 100 other people that are watching your videos that have the same question. And when somebody sees that you have a video and you replied to a comment, there's curiosity built in. They are more likely to click on it and go watch it. And these videos tend to do really well. I also love reply videos because it's like a free idea. You don't have to do research. They're great at building community and giving value. And they're the one type of content that you can really sell in, because people are going to start asking about how you can help them, and you can just give them the details. You're not being pushy. You're not being salesy. You're just answering a question. Now notice, as I'm talking about engagement, I'm talking about engaging with the viewers of your content, not going out and engaging from the bottom up on other people's content. Now, this leads perfectly into the seventh thing that I wish I'd known, which is the types of advice to avoid. And engaging from the bottom up is a perfect example of this, because there's this advice that comes up sometimes on TikTok about how to grow on TikTok, and you tend to see it's like almost a trend. Like somebody has a lot of success with it, and then a bunch of people start teaching it, and these things like never work except for the person that's sharing the advice. When somebody is telling you to engage from the bottom up, what's really happening is they're sharing this tip and you're wanting to watch it because you want to get more views, and then you're going to start engaging from the bottom up on their content. And so they are going to get the benefit of a lot more views because you're creating so much engagement. You're sharing their content, you're liking their content, you're commenting, you're watching it all the way through. It's helping them, but it's not helping you, because the only thing that gets you views on this platform is if people watch and engage with your content. Your behavior doesn't impact your views. And a really good example of this is because before you had engaging from the bottom up, you had posting and ghosting. So you had people telling you, oh, you're not getting views because you're not posting and ghosting. You need to post your content and then you need to get out of here. And that content was working really well too, because there were people that just wanted to learn more about how to get views, and somebody was giving them this very simple fix, this hack. And the reality is, if it sounds like a hack, if it sounds like anything other than understand who your ideal viewer is and what they want to watch and giving as much value as possible and getting as much watch time as possible, if it's anything other than that, it's not real. All that matters is creating good content. So when I tell you that you should go engage with other people's content, I'm telling you that because you're trying to train your For You page. That way it will say,
oh, you're interested in this stuff. Let me show you that type of content.
And you can use it as a research tool, which is going to help you get more views, but it's not like you engaging with that isn't what causes you to get more views. It just helps you come up with better ideas. It helps you understand what's actually working. So let me give you a list of some other items. That way, when you hear this advice, you don't think to yourself like, oh, should I be doing that? And you know exactly what you should do. The first one is anybody that's telling you that you need to post at a certain time is full of it, and they're just trying to get views. Your posting times really don't matter, and I know that one of you is going to comment, oh, but I always post at this time, I get the most views. It really does matter. Like, post at the time that works for you. Post at the time that your viewers are most likely to be on and be around. But what you should know is that these videos, they aren't just like popping off in the moment that you post them anymore. The views are taking time because the algorithm is kind of doing this slow burn. It's taking more time to find the right viewers. So honestly, you can post whenever and you're going to get some initial views, and then it's just going to kind of trickle until it takes off. Another thing that you need to know is that your hashtags don't matter a whole lot either. And you're probably going to go, well, hey, you talked about hashtag strategy in a past video and all that. It's because hashtags are tools that help you categorize your video. It's another way that you can help the algorithm figure out what your content is about. And so I think it's useful when you're first starting out. And I do think you should go and, search different terms and, content ideas in your niche, scroll over to hashtags and see what TikTok is recommending. Try to find the hashtags that are in that like 10,000 to 100,000 range, because those ones aren't overused and are, maybe that's going to help you a little bit. But it's not going to make or break your video. You're not going to go viral because of a hashtag. And you see that a lot of the big creators don't use hashtags at all, or if they do, they're just doing it out of habit. So use hashtags, like 3 to 5 of them that are related to the topic of your video to help get categorized early on, but don't sweat it. Like, don't put a whole lot of thought in it. Even what I was just saying, like, that might even be too much. Don't worry about it. The other one is TikTok SEO. Like, here's the thing that you really need to know about TikTok SEO. Number one, if you're typing keywords on your screen and you're sliding hiding them off screen, it's not going to work. TikTok actually came out and said that anything that's happening off screen is not actually being processed by their system. And so you're just wasting your time. Don't do that. But that's not how the TikTok algorithm works. That's not how TikTok SEO works anyway. You don't rank in search because of technical SEO and doing long tail keywords and putting keywords in your description and stuff like that anymore. Even YouTube, which is way more search based, doesn't work like that anymore. Your videos rank in search because they were successful on the FYP first, because you created a video that people that don't know you yet stop scrolling to watch, and you got a lot of watch time for it. So if it's successful on the For You page, then it's going to show up in search, because in search, the algorithm wants to show people the best performing videos for a particular topic. Now, I realize when you hear all this conflicting information from all the different people on TikTok that it can be confusing and honestly even paralyzing when you're trying to create content and be successful, because you want to do things the right way. And honestly, I felt the same way when I first got started, and that's why I started creating these videos on YouTube. It's also why I created this video. That way you have a 30-day plan to help you grow on TikTok based on what's actually working right now. So I want you to watch that video next.